Hello, and welcome to the Parenting App Study. In this video, I'm going to cover content such as enrollment, how to set up your phone and start the study, compensation for completing surveys, on-demand content that will be available to you throughout the study, interactions with your data collector, and other things to remember. So let's start with enrollment. To enroll in this study, your parent educator or safe care provider needs to submit notice of your agreement to participate and your contact information into their central database system, or ETO. The form you need to complete is called the Child Development New PDSA Touchpoint. Once your acceptance is logged into ETO, research assistants at the University of Oklahoma will be notified and will attempt to contact you for enrollment. Enrollment begins with a detailed explanation of the study requirements and activities and ends with an electronic signature from you and the research assistant indicating your willingness to participate. You will need access to the internet to complete this process. If you do not have internet access, a research assistant will arrange to meet with you in person to obtain your signature. So let's talk about setting up the phone. Once enrolled, the research assistant will set up your mobile device for app usage. This process begins by filling out a few personal details about when your index child, or the child you wish to focus on for purposes of the study, which must be between the ages of 12 months and 72 months old to be eligible when you receive the morning tips and evening tips. You will also complete a brief survey each evening at your preferred time. This preferred time must occur after the expected sleep time for the child. And you'll complete the survey about your interactions with the index child that day. So following that, the data collector will walk you through the steps for downloading the app. You must first go to the Google Play Store. So I'll click that now. So from here, in the search bar, you want to search for the term Insight mHealth Platform, and you'll see that it pops up there. And I'll click the Install button. So after installing, click the Open icon to open the app. Once the app is open, you will need to record your personal participation ID code. The data collector will provide this ID code to you. And so now we will allow Insight access to phone features, and we'll click while using the app for all of these features. And on this same page, if we scroll down and we see the toggle for Insight is currently off, we want to click this on to allow the app to interrupt other phone activities when it's time to see a tip. And so now I'll click this back button in the top left. We also want to click Allow here. Then we will include that participation ID given to us. I'll include mine here now. And we'll let our study configure. So to initiate your participation in the study, we'll click this Start Stage module here. First, we'll answer a question. How old is the youngest child in your home between the ages of 12 and 72 months? And then to proceed, we'll click the forward arrow in the bottom right. And then next, you'll give us consent to start the study by clicking yes. And then that forward arrow again to proceed. And so now we'll see that we move to the next stage automatically. And here we have example modules for the tips and the example modules for the assessment that you will take throughout this study. And so for our tips, we'll click on that module now on the top. This is just one example of a tip that you'll receive during this study. Again, these are just examples. And please note that you will not receive parenting tips for the first 2 weeks of your study participation. And I'll just click on the tip again so we can see varieties of the tips that we might receive during this study. And so again, just examples, and starting week 3, you will start receiving these tips once in the morning, once in the afternoon, every day of the study. This tip disappears after 15 minutes, and you don't need to advance the screen. It will do so on its own. Starting week 3, after you have read the tip, you can hide the app by pressing the rounded square icon at the bottom center of the screen. And so we're done with the tips. Those are just examples. You can look at those before you actually set your routines that you're going to experience in week 3. And now we'll look at the example assessment survey that you'll also complete every day of the study. So I'm going to click on that now, this second one. And this is just letting you know that you're going to answer some questions about your child, and then press OK. And you can look at all these items, and you'll notice that some of them include multiple choice, checkbox here, and even some open-ended response option formats. And if nothing applies to an open-ended item, you can just include nothing, none, or something like that. But we encourage you to include as much information as possible. And if you need help recording your response or anything like that, just again, please ask your data collector. And you'll also notice that if you've made a mistake, you can go back by clicking this back arrow here, and it'll take you back to the last item on the survey. You also see some items where you answer questions about yourself. And remember, when you complete each survey, you will receive $2 in compensation for each daily survey you complete. Okay, again, those are just examples of the tips and assessments you'll receive each day. And now we're actually going to go to this third module here labeled Routines for Week 3, where we will see the tips that you receive in the morning and the afternoon for when you actually start receiving these tips, which are in week 3 of the study. So we'll click that now, and here you want to choose the type of activity we want to focus on in the morning first. So let's say, for example, you want to focus on diapering and toileting. And so I'll select that and move forward by clicking the forward arrow in the bottom right. And then now you will choose the daily afternoon and evening activity that we want to focus on here, which, for example, might be bedtime. And so we're going to lock in the routines we want to see and work on for week 3. And remember that the routines you select here will correspond to those tips that you will receive in week 3. They'll be tailored to the specific routines you set now. So now you've done that. Those are the routines you will work on starting week 3, and you'll see that that just went away. That means we transition to week 1 of the study, where we will only receive notifications to complete the survey each day. That's what a notification for a tip looks like. If you click snooze, it will disappear for 15 minutes. It is important that if you do not hit snooze and yes when a notification is alerting you, you will miss an opportunity to see that tip or assessment to be sure the phone. And so you want to be sure that the phone is beside you for the morning tip, evening tip, and your preferred survey times you gave to the data collector. If you do not respond to the notification, you will not be able to get the reminder for the tip or survey and cannot go back to complete that. Remember, tips will not arrive until week 3. Tomorrow, you should only expect to receive a survey notification at the preferred time you gave the data collector. So let's talk a little bit about compensation for surveys. So starting the next day, when you have your phone, you will receive a daily notification at the preferred time you gave us to complete this very same brief survey. Each time you complete the survey, you'll be compensated $2 for your time. We will record the total amount of compensation you have earned over time also, and be able to give that to you at the end of the study. Please note that you must complete all questions to receive a $2 compensation. If you don't have any information to enter into those open-ended text fields, please type the word none, nothing, or something like that. So now let's talk about the on-demand content that we have here. Let's take a quick look at this first one, the On-Demand Parent Pro. So I'll click that now. This takes us to the parentpro.org website, where you'll find helpful tips on parenting along with a list of parenting resources available in your community. And please note that that in the upper right-hand corner, there's a menu with 3 bars where we can access other resources and other helpful pages. And so we encourage you to look at this on-demand content. And once you're done looking at it, you can click the forward arrow again in the bottom right to get out of it. So quickly, let's take a look at this second one, this on-demand LTS. This takes us to the CDC's Learning the Signs Act Early website. Here you will find helpful advice on how to monitor your child's development. It includes information on developmental milestones that you can monitor as a parent, as well as advice on seeking care in the event you recognize any developmental concerns. Please note, if you do identify concerns or have any questions about this website, your parent educator or safe care provider, the individual who notified you about this study, they will be a wonderful resource for further information. Again, once you're done, just click that forward arrow in the bottom right-hand corner to advance the page to the next screen. So now we're back on the app. Let's check on this third website, the On-Demand HUCDC. This takes us to the website for the Center on the Developing Child at Harvard University. This website contains a wealth of information on child development and the latest science-based advice on effective parenting. It also contains the latest scientific knowledge on the harms of childhood adversity, how to prevent adversity, and how to care for children who have been exposed to adversity. It also has a menu that you can also look through. So once you're done with that, we can click the forward arrow to return to the home page. Finally, we'll look at this last on-demand content, the TIST. This is the Talking is Teaching website. Once there, we can scroll down and find helpful information on early learning activities and opportunities for your child. These include access to learning resources, short videos on how to make learning fun for your child. And as with other on-demand content websites, feel free to browse the additional content by clicking on the 3-bar menu. In the top right-hand corner, you can close it. This one, interesting, this one website also has resources in Spanish. And once you're done, you can click on the X in the top left-hand corner here, and it will take us back to the app home page. So that covers what's in the app and how to get started and what you will experience at least in the first day. So interactions with your data collector will be contacting you once a week to set up your app for the following week and check on anything that may be causing you trouble. Please note, if you experience trouble during this week, like not receiving tips or surveys, immediately contact your data collector for help using the contact information they provide. When your data collector calls, they will ask you a few questions about your interactions with the app that prior week. They will help you change any morning and afternoon tip times or preferred survey times should your schedule change. At the end of the 4th week of participation, the data collector will call you for one final check-in. They will have some new questions to ask about your engagement with the app, and will explain the steps required to receive your study compensation. They will also walk you through the steps to uninstall the app from your phone. So to do this, you can click the rounded square button in the bottom center. We can go to the Play Store. You'll see that they have an uninstall button there. And when the time comes, that's what you'll do to uninstall the app from your phone. For now, let's go back to the app. I'm going to click Open. And so some very important things to remember. To receive your daily tips and surveys, you must leave the app open in the background and have your volume on the phone turned up to an audible level. We can check the volume here using the volume bar on the side of the phone, and you'll see that there is a three-dotted menu there, and I'll click that. And we'll see that we can adjust these levels, and we want to make sure that if any of these are not all the way up, we want to turn them all the way up with our finger. Okay, so other important things to remember: keep the app open in the background. Please only close the app using the rounded square icon near the bottom center of the Android device. Please be sure to never shut down the phone or manually close the app during your participation in this study. If the phone shuts down, please be sure to turn it back on and open the app as soon as possible. It's very important to keep the phone charged also. A proper method for closing the app would be to just keep it open as you see here and lock the phone with the side button or let the screen lock out on its own. An improper way to close the app would be to click the vertical 3-bar menu in the bottom left-hand corner and remove the app like this. We do not want that to happen. Don't do that. Now I'll open the app again. I can swipe up and find my app right there. So now I'm back in Insight. And we want to always keep it open like this and always in the background. You can go to the home page and use any other app you want, but just make sure you never close out of the Insight app doing something like that. We don't want that to happen. Also, to open the app, either search for Insight from your phone's app search window, but one of the easiest ways is just to swipe up on the device here, like you saw me do again, and it shows all the apps in the phone. Then you can see Insight right there, and we can reopen it by pressing it. Also remember, you're able to snooze or delay the appearance of tips and surveys for 15 minutes. You can do this up for 3 times for each of these notifications. You will not receive an option to snooze the information on the 4th reminder. So be sure to view the content directly after this final reminder appears. Again, you can only snooze it 3 times. If the app is not responding as you expect, please contact your data collector immediately. You may also try to manually reboot, meaning turn off and then back on the phone, but just remember to open the app immediately after turning the phone back on and to also ensure your volume is turned up to an audible level. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy the Parenting App Study.